Hey folks, Rob here with another Real Deal in the Field with a second one for Nathan. So I guess going through a number of your projects at the moment, mate. You've got a few on the go. Mate, this is a deal that you've had for a little while. Mm-hmm. Had a couple of challenges with it. Let's do an overall. How big is the site? I guess, what were your initial assessments of what you could actually get out of the deal?
Yes, 4,000 square metres, just over an acre. Originally, we could get 18 with the affordable housing step, so we got a bonus of 20%.
Yep.
We lodged on that basis, and we got a lot of pushback and a lot of issues regarding the approval. So at the time, the market also started to cool off.
We'll touch on that though, because it wasn't the fact that what you did was wrong. It was the fact that because it was affordable housing, the community didn't like what they saw.
Correct,
so
yeah.
there was a lot of community lashback, and I guess the community rallying the troops to try and go,
yep.
Nathan, you're a very bad man, you evil developer, you.
That's right, yeah, with actual pitchforks and, yeah. In fact, they all walked past here with the council, with a spokesperson from the council, and they were all complaining about all sorts of issues, and, yeah, it was a very, very bizarre experience.
So you've decided that you're going to take a slightly different approach. So rather than push for that, I guess, that higher density with the affordable housing, you thought you'd now come back with, I guess, a still complying type approach. The first one was complying, but something that I guess the community can't actually complain about.
That's right. We've identified that the area is not quite ready for affordable housing or that type of product. We've now increased the living spaces. They're more desirable. We're going to achieve a higher price point for them. And the construction cost is fairly not that much difference as well. So we've found the sweet spot, if you want to call it that, and we've now fully compliant with the DCP, and we're now confident we're going to get an approval quite quickly.
Yep.
We're going to fast track it through Land Environment Court.
So the lesson for, I guess, our community members here is that maximum density isn't always the most profitable. In this instance, maximum density would have got more stock, but it created so much hassle, created a whole bunch of issues and challenges with regards to, and the product itself was probably going to be a little bit cheaper in the sales process.
That's absolutely.
So by reducing the yield, you're actually pushing up the desirability, pushing up the demand, making it much more. So my definition of, I guess, highest and best use is the most amount of money in the least amount of hassle with the least amount of time, right?
That's exactly right.
So that said, still a little bit of hassle to try and get this through to get it to the end, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
So given that, I guess you got the knockback, you're going for, I guess, a 100% compliant development this time.
Yes.
But you're going to, I guess, try and avoid that community lashback because you are still hated.
We're still going to get it. They hate us here. They've joined together and created a Facebook group against us.
Bad man.
I know. But we're fully compliant now, and the council have rezoned this to an appropriate zoning because it's so close to such important infrastructure. Like train station is a 3-minute walk just down the road. We've got private schools and state schools surrounded. We've got childcare centres just here. We've got major shopping centres nearby. So it's reflective of the demographic of the area.
Absolutely.
All the urban sprawl.
And when we see the backyard, you can actually see the new school being constructed. That, like again, you picked a cracking spot, mate. So, forgot where I was going to go with all of that. But
I think just the biggest thing with us was we just went in there. This was the biggest learning curve, this project. We had so much pushback. We had over 101 submissions against us, and which was quite a learning curve.
Digits, mate. High five.
It was a learning curve in itself.
So in order to avoid that next time, you've decided to take a little bit more, I guess, strategic and tactical approach, and kind of, because you've already got that negativity in the community, and you're still, no matter what you do, applying to council again, that negativity is still going to be there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you've decided to bypass that and just kind of step above council and actually take this to Land and Environment Court straight away.
Yeah.
So
we already know we're going to get pushback, so we're preempting that by having a fully compliant development. We can get 15 townhouses instead of 18, but because of the higher retail sale price, and that sweet spot that we talked about just before, it justifies it, and the outcome is just more sufficient, easier, less risk.
more desirable.
More desirable, yes.
I think once it's in place, the community is going to be much more accepting of it as well. So,
totally. And in a blessing in disguise, because of the time that it's taken us to relodge for these townhouses, our GRV has shot through the roof because now there's a huge demand for this product. And so we're now pushing forward.
And that huge market uplift multiplied by 15 equals a lot more profit.
Correct.
Tidy profit.
Exactly.
So, mate, we're going to just duck out the back, have a look at the back of the site, have a look around. So hang on, folks. We'll see you in 2 secs.
Awesome.
But here we are at the back of the property. As you can see, quite a lot of room here. Massive, massive house up the front. Your design is going to keep the existing house because there's intrinsic value in that. And then fit 15 townhouses sitting all around it.
That's right.
So just mindful you might be stepping out of shot, mate.
Yep.
Now, given what we were just talking about at the front of the property, clearly that change of approach has meant that your timelines on this project are starting to extend. So your holding costs are going to lift and that sort of thing. You've done something really creative to try and mitigate a lot of those holding costs. So the existing property, you've turned it into, I guess, a rooming or rent per room type situation. Mm-hmm. That increased yield has kind of kept your holding costs at bay, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's been able to cover our holding costs. So it was originally a 4-bedroom existing house. I identified it was one of those ranch-style houses, had formal dining and they converted a double garage into a rumpus room. So I've converted those rooms. And it's worked out quite well in order to cover the holding costs while we've held on to it.
So the important part, folks, is making sure that when you're doing a deal of any description, you want to always account for your holding costs, and especially if there might be delays. In instances where there are going to be extended delays, coming up with creative solutions to just, I guess, mitigate that. Otherwise, you're eroding away your future profits. Is really, really important. There's a massive pool here, and
80,000 litres.
80,000 litres. And Nathan was telling me before that the guy they bought the house off used to be a pool builder, and so that's an over-spec'd pool. Like, how much concrete do you take?
A lot. And apparently it's the hardest type of concrete that you can get. Yeah. So it's going to be fun trying to get it out.
Yeah, fun times. And clearly, with the fact that he's a pool builder and building all these concrete pools and that sort of thing, from time to time he has excess concrete. So I guess the concrete slab in the shed is oversized.
Correct.
There's a skate ramp. If anyone wants to come for a skate, there's a skate ramp made out of excess concrete.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities here for anyone who recycles concrete to come and help Nathan out.
Absolutely. That's a really good idea.
Now, for those of you who don't know, when you're actually demolishing a house or demolishing a property, you can get a demolition crew that comes and scoops all that up and takes it to landfill, and you pay massive costs with landfill. But if you get a demolition crew that actually does recycling, they'll actually crush that concrete up. That will actually become gravel and road base in other projects. So you can save yourself some bucks. Don't be afraid of the amount of concrete that's there. It's kind of use it as an opportunity to reduce your cost by finding someone who's creative, mate.
Yep. We've had to turn everything into an opportunity as much as possible with this site. So,
well, everything is an opportunity. There's a massive shed that you can sell easily. You'll get $4 or $5 grand for that second hand, mate. There's a nice little bungalow here beside the pool house.
Pool bungalow, yeah.
And that looks like it's on stumps. You can pick that up and take that away. There's so many opportunities. I'm looking behind us. There's all these palm trees and massive trees, all of those, every single one of them is an opportunity. Like there's $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000 right there.
Yep.
Mate, there's money lying around everywhere here if you know what you're looking for.
Yep.
So what's your timelines now? You're going to take this to Land and Environment Court.
Yes.
You're just about to lodge that at the moment. What's the expected timelines?
We're projecting for it to be a quick approval, actually. Even if it doesn't, we're probably about 4 to 6 months away from approval. Then on to CC, and then we'll go to construction. We'll probably be in construction for about 8 months. And then we'll have a big marketing campaign during the after the approval. And
so mate, I want to applaud you for pivoting when you started to see the issues and challenges that were taken there, by being 1,000% compliant on that Land and Environment Court. You're taking away all of the risk of the community kind of fighting you and that sort of thing. So a lot of people are afraid of Land and Environment Court. I guess it's one of those things where if you use it to for its right purpose, then it's actually a very helpful process.
That's right.
Where I see people misuse it is they're trying to push for density that doesn't really belong, and they're trying to argue and fight, and it just costs them money and it blows out. You're doing the exact right thing and going, well, this is 100% compliant.
Correct.
Council, we don't want to hear all of your objections and that sort of thing. We're just going to go straight to the arbitrators and decision makers.
Straight through, yeah. Quick approval. Absolutely. And we've got a town planner that specialises in Land Environment Court.
Yeah. So when you have problems, folks, just know that you can pivot. Just know that there are always opportunities. There's money lying around everywhere. It's just about identifying that and maximising your opportunity. Any passing words for our final words for our audience, mate?
Just do your due diligence. Yeah. As much as possible.
And remember, maximum yield is not necessarily highest and best use.
That's right.
So it's the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle.
Yes. And I'll say also, just do 3 different feasibilities when doing your site analysis. Do a worst case scenario, a likely scenario, and a best case scenario, and just buffer between all 3 of them and know exactly where you stand throughout the whole project.
Yeah. Well, with that said, mate, thank you for sharing your real deal. We've already seen part of this as one of our real deal presentations because of the hassles he got to this particular stage. So Nathan will come by and finish the real deal once it's actually constructed. So if you want to see the finished product, hang on, and I guess in a couple of months' time, you'll be seeing it coming to a meetup near you. Until then, see you, folks.